What's up, man? How we doing?
Back again. No, I'm doing
Back
good.
again.
Doing good, man. Oh man, it's been a crazy week. Like going on for both of us. So we been trading stories back and forth, and our personal chat. There's a lot of sick shit out there I'm seeing. Uh so let's start off with this McDonald's billboard thing because it's pretty weird. So first billboard smells like French fries, no logos, no branding, but all the branding with uh the smell of the fries. It's interesting, and I would love to see, like, obviously I'm not is based in the Netherlands right now. I would love to see or love to smell what this smells like, because I don't know Europe to like be lit for like smells. Like I don't know. Like what does that even smell like? And like what if, I just have so many questions. Do they or is it the same formula everywhere? Is the formula for fries? I think here they like put beef seasoning and just really fry it, I guess. But I wonder what that smell is and how this could be applied across the board. I know I need to get to a med spa soon. I'm pretty exhausted from my, outside work, but I know there they always spray incense and essential oils. So this isn't really a new concept, but it's a new concept in the sense of uh as advertising. It's uh it's definitely cool, but and it's something that I think a lot of companies or people have wanted to try in the past. I remember back in the day, I'll age myself, like there was a thing like the scratch and sniff, and it maybe applied to something that was happening in a TV show or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how far fries. What if there's some, somebody just really going to town sniffing it? Or I don't know. I don't know how does that work? It's interesting. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. McDonald's in the Netherlands launched the campaign, first scented billboards. I think it's very fitting for McDonald's. I think, I'll cast my vote right now. McDonald's, my favorite fast food fries. I think I'd have to put Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A's up there too at a number two spot, but McDonald's, takes the cake there. And I think it says something about how, you know, just universal they've become as a fast food staple. These billboards are being put out there with no logo. So just a block of yellow, block of red, just scented billboards. We'll put up photos and you can go see the campaign, the video they posted. So interesting take. I like to see that, they're kind of highlighting other senses, right? So other than just like visual cues, through marketing is like through scent or smell. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. It's definitely cool. I wonder how, like, do they have to change it out like a Airwick or like a something like that? Do you change it out every 6 months or so, or I don't know. I wonder what's the uptick. Are people rolling into McDonald's in this area just looking for fries?
Right. So
Like,
that's the thing. So apparently they're being placed within 200 meters or 650 feet of the restaurant. So it's kind of to lure them in, right? But yeah, I'm wondering, does it start smelling funky after a certain amount of time, right? Like, do you have to replace it? So, um, yeah, but I'd like to see this kind of for other stuff. I guess food is kind of on the nose with the smells, but I think like I'd like to see this from maybe a candle company, maybe a Bed Bath Beyond or something like that. Or, I don't know, something to kind of maybe a skincare lotion type setup on how that would work.
yeah.
Because I do think like smell. I don't know about you, but like if I'm somewhere, wherever it may be, and I smell something, it'll take me back in time. Like I'll know exactly where that was. Like I'll be somewhere and I'll just be like, this smells exactly like my middle school locker room, or this smells like the hallway in my elementary school, or whatever it may be. I don't know. It's just so evident, like right there, right then and there, that is the smell. And I think that, like, for people that may lack some sense of like visual design cues and understanding of like composition and stuff, I think the sense can kind of, you know in favor of that. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know why they don't just like open the restaurant, just smell like fries, like just cook it up, because being from this part of the US, you drive by a barbecue place, you drive by certain restaurants, you just, you can just smell it. So I love that the architecture and the like mass production has stopped them from being able to produce uh this type of senses, uh instead of just doing it the old school way. They have to like manufacture it. It's weird. It's a weird we live definitely in a dystopian. They're making glades. Oh, they should do that. That would be hot, right? Just partner with Airwick, and you just plug it in your house. It just or you have a McDonald's candle, right? That smells like fries. Uh, that would be I could see them doing something like that. That would be that would be crazy. But also, speaking of dystopian apocalyptic creations, you were talking about this Boston Dynamics. I haven't fully got into it, but they made some changes.
Yeah, so just the other day they retired their one that they've been working on for past years, HD Atlas, and then the next day they announced they're working on the new one, Atlas. So new changes, all electric. The past one was hydraulic model, so this one's brand new, working. They're a Hyundai company. It involves 360-degree joints, so it involves for a wide range of inhumane movements, making it the world's most dynamic humanoid robot. So, we'll throw out some photos. This thing definitely looks like, RoboCop esque, like some scary shit. There's minimal material out right now just because it's just been announced. But I mean, just based off the photos and the little teaser vid they threw out, you could see this thing, becoming like an actual butler slash like destroyer of worlds. So yeah, it's crazy. Obviously Boston Dynamics has been a staple in the scene for so long, and we all knew that these would be the people to at the forefront, but also Apple, Tesla, they all have their robots in the works. So this may be the first one onto the entryway, right? And then the bigger companies kind of follow them up. I think Figure or Vision Figure, something like that. Let me pull it up, but they're backed by like everybody is invested in them. So it's scary stuff, man. I mean, what do you think about when you see this robot?
Uh, it's definitely freaky. But it's cool. Man, I don't know about a, 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 a as a butler, that would be kind of weird. I really want him to take a step back and start focusing more on battle bots. I don't know if you remember the battle bots from back in the day. Get some bots in a ring and go to it. My current favorite battle bot is definitely Banshee. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want to see. I want to see more battle bots. They got to make this technology more accessible to the everyday man before you just pop out with Robin Williams as a goddamn robot. You remember that movie where he was like a little butler freak guy, like who was falling in
Yes.
love?
Yep.
What is that? What's that movie, man? But it's it's weird. It's
By Cynthia Man, 99.
right?
Yeah.
Like classic time. But bro, like what do you do? Like you know, you're with your lady at their late night, you go get some Italian food, and you're in the bed and you got a fucking robot standing outside the door waited, to just whatever you need, here you go, sir. Here's a towel. Like what? Whoa, this is a little, you know, like, do you put them in a closet? Like, how does this work for the everyday man? I don't know, you wake up or like you're asleep and this robot wakes you up and just taps you like, time to get up. It's 5 o'clock. It's 5 a.m. It's like, yeah, geez, I don't know. And to make sure I'm looking at the right thing, this is the thing with the circle face, right?
Right. Yeah, and if you look up figure.ai, this is another company kind of pushing forward in the scene, and they're going to be powered by OpenAI, which is drawing attention. I think like the structure that these robots have adopted, right? So like the past model that Boston Dynamics were working on, it looked like a dog. Like they had like a whole meme motion going around where like people, teams that were working on the machine were trying to like kick it over. Like that was like a thing they would do, like try to like agitate it, whatever. And especially just imagine, I mean, I'm sure you've seen videos on the internet of bots that companies have made with the real life looking face shit. Like um that's scary stuff, and I'm sure that like um there'll be a lot of emotions around it. You're talking about like, what do you do? Imagine in the Butler scene, like you just put it in the closet, but like I can imagine the concept of dismissing your robot butler is much easier when it looks like a grunt or a dog, or obviously a machine. But if it's a life-size robot just as tall as I am.
Welcome to the Midnight Hour with MB3. Today we're discussing internet connections and also a deeper connection. Call in now to hear something special for a loved one, or maybe you have a special AI friend that you want to send a message to. Next, we have Joaquin Phoenix coming up to discuss her. Oh, I was doing a whole radio. I was kept it going. Fuck it.
Imagining one day robots being like of human assistance and in our day-to-day jobs, right there at our side, willing to do whatever task we throw at it. At the end of the day, whenever you don't need it anymore, the that separation would be much easier with it looking like a machine, clearly like a machine or like a dog or a grunt, whatever. But if it's a life-size robot, 6 feet tall, whatever, like looking me in my eye, and then eventually, obviously, it has like fucking skin. I'm thinking like Westworld, right? Like actual like, yeah. I can see how some people would. It would be harder for them to disconnect those feelings. So um, yeah, and like I know like the marketing campaigns and the shit that they push, like I'm on figure.ai right now, right? They're showing videos of the robot doing the dishes and like stocking supplies. I think like from a marketing perspective, right, these people are trying to um, present the idea as like they can actually be of assistance, and I do think in that way they can be. But I do think that like right now the video they're showing, they're making coffee. They just put a Keurig cup and they're making a cup of coffee. Like that's cool. Like I can fuck with a robot making me some coffee, but also it's just like you can't help but the idea of thinking like the worst of the worst. I mean, at least, that's what I'm thinking, right? Like, okay, he just picked up an apple and handed it to somebody. Like, I'm thinking like he picks up the apple and launches it, in my face. Just like the malfunctions that can happen is my point.
Yeah, yeah, that's very, very real. I mean, when technology like this is developed, it's always developed for a certain class, ruling class of people who they deem civilized. Normal people, for the most part, will never go for that. Do you think people in Kinder, Louisiana is gonna be like, this fucking robot down at the Piggly Wiggly? They're not gonna really go for this shit, right? So, and also, I was reading an article about Iran, or it might have been Israel or Iran, one of the two. They were spreading malware onto a bunch of USBs that infected the whole country, and it wasn't they didn't activate that malware until, they'll activate it when it's time comes into place, like now, right? So what happens, like, when someone hacks these, you know technicians, there's just been a recall of all these Teslas. Who is going to be the technician for this if something happens, it falls over? You have to think about, like, your grandma working these things. If it isn't a seamless, loving experience for your grandma, it really, you know, it's not going to be, like, you got to cover those bases. Children, of course. What happens on uh 63rd and Keene Drive when this thing is out there? Of course, the first thing they're gonna do, they're marketing it towards the everyday people, which is very smart. Make the public okay with it, but this definitely is going to be used in the military, in policing, places like that first. Maybe like you might see it in an Amazon warehouse or something like that, but to see it for residential use, I still think it's a long way to go. They have no choice but to add that human factor. And when they start trying to develop like looks, like genders, uh, uh, races into these things, that's going to be the day I want us to record this podcast, because that's going to be strange on how they develop that. Because the Freak Boys, what happens when you start making woman robots that can do things, so, but I think that's in a future that, will be, we'll still be here, but it'll be a whole different world till then, and I'm excited to see. I'm still want to see these damn battle bots, man. That was a good time. Those oh, Nickelodeon, yikes. Nickelodeon was doing some weird stuff, weren't they? But you were talking, they were, right? They had battle bots and freakiness on the set. Like, how do you, that's a lot. But you were talking about this Marques Brownlee review. I'm familiar with the Rabbit R1. I haven't paid too much attention to the Humane pen, but what did you read or hear about it?
Yeah, so human AI pin dropped, and the reviews have, just taken up Twitter and Instagram and everything, and everybody has something to say about it. And Marquez posted a review himself, and um, the title is "The Worst Product I've Ever Reviewed." Dot 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 for now, and it has a very strong thumbnail. I mean, it's very, it makes you click on it to watch it, right? Um, and he posted a follow-up video, "Do bad reviews kill companies?" Because I think he felt like he needed to address some of the backlash he was receiving, which I don't think it was deserving on his part. I think he just, as he's done, I know, a lot of people that are in the tech space have, they watch his videos to like, they literally watch reviews on products that they aren't going to receive themselves. I've done it myself several times, right? So, um, yeah, basically, it's a $700 product, and you have to pay a subscription as well. So, like, how can you take it easy on them, right? Like, if it's a shit product, you need to speak your truth. And he says a lot of this in his "Do Bad Reviews Kill Companies" video. I think he brought up a lot of good topics, like, um, one review. I mean, yes, right. The guy has 18.7 million subscribers. He has a platform. Now, I'm not saying that like his review can't dent a company's stock, because it very much can, but at the same time, like, he's not accountable for a bad product being a bad product. Now, I think a lot of people will say that the Humane pin is useful, and it definitely has utility to it, and all that shit. But there's just some malfunctions that he's communicated that him and other tech reviewers have experienced. So, like, he's just speaking the truth about the product. And basically, it hit Humane hard, right? Like, just, I'm guessing, stock prices, they start talking, is this worth continuing launching? And he has experience in the past of, like, um, he has motion, and what he says can reach a lot of people, so. And he deserves the credit because he's built that platform. But basically, in his follow-up video, he was talking about, can a bad review kill a company? But I think his review was a great review. I think the idea is that no review can kill a company. It's the product that will kill the company. If the product is bad, it's gonna do it itself. Now, I think, like, he brought up a good point. So I'm sure you're familiar with the company Razer. They recently got into, I'm not sure the date here, but smartphones. So they made a smartphone, their first model. Marquez reviewed it, and one of his complaints was the vibration motor or whatever. Like, whenever you get a phone call, the vibration on the phone, it sounds broken. Like, it sounds like something's rattling inside it. So he says this in the video. Fast forward X amount of time, he's at a convention. He's getting a walkthrough. Him and some other tech reviewers, they're getting a walkthrough of the new Razer phone. And one of the execs at Razer, addressed to Marquez, like, "Hey, you're gonna like this vibration," because they acted on it, right? So his review prompted action and therefore improved the product. So I definitely think that just truthful reviews on products is the most important thing. If the product is actually shit, like, you need to say that it's bad. Like, you can't lead people astray just because you want to sell, right? Yeah, so I saw his review, and some others, they were saying, this and that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not wearing it on my, that's just too much for me. So
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely some Black Mirror type equipment that I mean, I'm interested to see it develop. I know the founders of the company, they worked at Apple for a long time, so they have the pedigree to develop something of this caliber. Everything about it looks good. It looks great. I'm not spending when they start being refurbished on Amazon, I'll get one at that point. But they I mean they have a good story, and I look forward to them making the necessary changes. And what you're speaking to is so apparent even with us with this product that we're developing right now. It's the whole building in public thing is this is where the actual work begins. We worked on this feels like for a long time behind the scenes, and now actually putting it out in public, this is where like the actual changes and massaging things and comes into place. So um I'm not gonna cut it out. I think I'm gonna check it out, but I think it's a lot of people online. I don't think the internet's real. That I don't know if that's a topic we want to delve into right now, the dead internet theory. But I think people they look to stuff like this. There's in all worlds, sports, all that they look to. destroy a product or destroy a company, create negative press. I don't know if it's actually real. Like they root for certain companies or certain products. So I think his titling it that way definitely kind of added to the Apple fanboys or other people who want to be like, "Oh, see, that's trash." Just to say something's trash when, most people can't even design their website, let alone the actual hardware. So I'm interested to see where it goes for sure.
Yeah, I think it's definitely an ambitious attempt. I think wearable technology has a long way to go. I mean, I think about Google Glass. I mean, remember when that
Oh yeah.
broke the internet, or first came to be, and I think that like visually that still looks like one of the coolest wearable techs. Like photo, we'll throw up a photo. I don't even remember what year this was. This is years and years ago now, but I always want to get my hands on a pair of those because I thought those are fucking, NES declassified type shit. And I think that the space has a long way to go, a lot of growth to happen, but I think that it's a practicality argument. Like, I think right now the little thing like on your chest, it can act as like an assistant and researcher and note taker and camera and all this shit. But also like right here, so like how lazy can you really be? How the functionality, how I don't know how much you can really adapt to that, really like wearing something other than just having something in your pocket. I don't know. So lot of questions to be answered, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. That's actually a great point because yeah, your phone. Like I have ChatGPT, I have the subscription and I have it on a iPhone 14, a smaller phone. I think it's the SC, and I have it on there and I have it on my like my lock screen. So if you with the when you have Chat GBT 4, Chat GBT 4, you can just talk to it. So I have it on my lock screen and I just like try to have a conversation that way, which is pretty much kind of like the same thing, just with that. So, that's kind of speaks to um designers, user experience designers, creating those workflows, making those experience simpler because you could manufacture a way to do this with the technology that's out right now. I think the pen was it still needs to happen. I think wearables is the future. We definitely need those. Um, but yeah, we definitely have a long way to go with that.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think um like even I'm looking at some of their functions. So like you put your hand up and it displays like the LED screen and stuff. Like I think that's simply like a cosmetic like feature, like not cosmetic. I mean it shoots out the light, but it's just a cool sci-fi tech thing. It's like, do you really need to broadcast text on your hand? Like I really don't think that. I don't know, and I'm seeing like people report that like it malfunctions with the light, with the sun. You can't even read it and shit. So I think it's just they're just trying to make it like a cool factor in a tech way. But uh, I don't know. I do agree with you. I think wearables definitely will be a fashion statement. It'll be a thing, but we're not there yet. I don't know.
Definitely get out that Apple ecosystem. That's what they don't want to go through that app store. It's cool. I get it.
To double back to this, I know this is off the dome, but Tesla recalled the Cybertrucks, which is definitely eye opening to hear. I think from a visual standpoint, is one of the coolest vehicles in my personal opinion. It reminds me of like a vehicle you'd see on Halo or something. and I think that it's definitely like a sign of the times now to get the recalls on all 3,000 something of them um, is a little worrisome. I'd say. I guess you can say that they caught it early into production. I mean, 3,000 something vehicles in the big scope of things isn't that much. So I mean, we're talking uh, you know, a lot of elite people, right? Athletes, Hollywood type shit, like all the with cash that have these. Um, Apparently, they can bring them to the Tesla shop and just get it done for free. It takes like 30 seconds. I watched a video demonstration of it of how they do it to the accelerator. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I'd hate to I think we spoke on Teslas in a past episode. I did have a good experience, but I was driving a Model 3. So
It's it's interesting. I mean, I think the reason why it's such a big deal is because this is such an exclusive uh product. This isn't something that's feasible. It looks cool, but this is not something this never be mass produced for the public to actually use. I wish Tesla would focus more on getting more like charging stations up that all electric cars for sure can use and focus more on the solar panels. I personally think that those are just more important products to work into our everyday society. I mean those Model 3s, I want one of those bad boys. But the way they go about marketing and trying to integrate in society, just I feel like unfortunately it's gonna take longer for it to work, you know. Every time I call a Uber, it's a goddamn Model 3, right? Like they're giving them out as like rental cars. And I just it is until someone develops, and Ford may have one already, until they develop an electric car for the common person. I know that's kind of might sound like the theme this episode, talking about these robots and everything, but if you have to develop from the bottom up, you cannot develop from the top down. So, um, yeah, until they get a car that's accessible, charging stations that are actually accessible, there's gonna continue to be problems like this in the future. But you know, the Cybertruck is cool. It looks good. I still feel I feel like they should still develop it, you know, f- like I said, for your everyday person, different colors, different looks. Right now, they kind of market it like it's a truck on Mars, something in Total Recall, something, you know, Arnold would be driving, right? But yeah, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where they go with it. Hopefully, the people behind the scenes kind of take this product and steer it in the right ethical lane that it needs to be in. I wonder why these companies don't invest more in infrastructure. Because you know they're marketing it, they're like in Greenland or somewhere just doing donuts and shit, which who the fuck is buying it? Like most people are in LA, Chicago, New York, you know what I'm saying? Like they're not London, where like they're not gonna be doing this all terrain stuff. I don't see too many lumberjacks buying this. So I wonder why don't they invest more into like roads and infrastructures to make, you know, that only helps their products. You know, I'm in Houston. Every three, you know, 3 blocks, you're literally bouncing with all the potholes and just uh things in the road. So a vehicle like this, man, the experience of driving it, experience of driving a Tesla goes down depending on the quality of the streets, you can only assume that that person is in some suburbs somewhere where the streets are on point. But as they produce more and more people have access to it, is the streets gonna like maintain these vehicles, help maintain these vehicles? So I wonder if that's something that they think about, reinvesting in communities, of course, major cities where these vehicles are. Like I was in a car the other day. Yeah, it was just a Honda, and I was a passenger, and they pulled out, and boom, their fender like hit the ground. You know when you go out and just hits the road because it's uneven. Can you imagine that happening in one of these trucks or in a Tesla? Yeah, I'll be pretty pissed. Or just car wrecks, stuff like that. I think it's a lot of stuff to investigate, research to make these things because I want these type vehicles to be the norm, right? I want the robot Butler, I want the Humane pin, I want the Cybertruck, but how does this function in the real world? How do we set it up for the next CEOs of these companies? Because most of the CEOs of these companies are like old as shit. How does the next group of people, what problem are they going to be solving? Is the thing they're going to be solving, how do we make nature and everyday life better so we can make this technology fit? You know what I'm saying? Like, or we can fix that now in this technology. We can really advance this technology in the future. So yeah.
Cool. No, I like that. Um, and I think that's been a pushback for a lot of people. Specifically, I haven't seen videos of the internal, insides of the Cybertruck, but I have seen videos of like the Model Y, Model 3, like people in the inside, like going on the dashboard and just like grabbing it and shaking it, right? I'm not sure these vehicles are, built Ford tough or built Chevy tough, right? I think that um, they kind of have to find that middle ground where they're more like consumer friendly, but they also appeal to, you know the people that have been driving gasoline vehicles, lifted truck type shit. Like I think gotta find that middle ground to get that mass appeal. But kind of shifting gears here from electric vehicles, no pun intended. Did you see the New York Jets rebrand?
I did. I feel like everyone is kind of moving to something more nostalgic, more simple, you know, compared to the last thing we took a look at with the LA Clippers. This is what the New York Jets did is kind of the opposite. They kind of went back to um a older look, but it looks good. I love the color is very very simple. I love when people shout out designers. So the guy who designed the Jim Pons, I think that's dope. So yeah, it's a good look. It's great. It has a story. I love a good story about a brand. But what do you think about it?
Yeah, that's a good point about nostalgia. I think we've seen that within the last, um, I would say primarily within the last like 5 years or so. Nostalgia sells in every medium of culture. So we're seeing it in music, right? These artists, rappers, they'll sample, audio from 80s, 90s, right? And it kind of sparks that or rekindles that emotion, and like, you hearing that song for the first time present day. Same thing with fashion, same thing with just visual arts. So to see them bring this logo back from the 70s, 80s, 90s that they were rocking with. Like you said, I love that it has a story. It's strong. It's bold. I think the Jets can use the rebrand, as well as like the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers getting hurt and coming back. I think this is just helping them kind of become more, I don't know, structured or solid with the new look, right? Like it's a good to have going into next season. So I don't know. Yeah, I didn't really like I'm looking at the past ones. I didn't really like the all caps Jets with just the football. So like the oval, it's literally two ovals inside one logo. It's just I don't know, not it. I like the plane. I like the jet. Kind of getting more of that visual identity is nice. I think nostalgia can kind of speak to just like, I don't know, are we losing it? Like, are we because we're seeing it so much with across all mediums. So like, are we just running out of ideas? Like, where are we at with production of new ideas? Is it because our old stuff was kind of like our peak, and that's why we're seeing it kind of revisited? Like, what are your thoughts on like breaking away from even having to leverage nostalgia, right? Like, how do we make a new point to where we don't have to bring it back to, if that makes sense?
In this case is the nostalgia, but I think the major reason why we see um this like this new look with like this simple text, we discussed in the past like this use of Helvetica a lot in branding. This is very simple. It's to the point. We have the nostalgia, but for someone who's never seen football, don't know anything about sports, it don't really mean anything, right? It just looks like it says it just looks like Jets, right? So it doesn't the reason why I think it's the shift is honestly to make it easier to market, make it easier um, to advertise, make it more about the players than the actual brand. Um, I think moving beyond just design as the th- the thing you hang your hat on is just where we're going, and it's more about the experience and the story. You have Aaron Rodgers there. I know he was injured, came back. He's a very controversial person right now. Um, so there's so much there. You're gonna get a bunch of fans just based on that. Uh, you know, uh, in 10 years, you're gonna have women playing football with the men. You're gonna have the WNBAs with an uptick. You want it to be simple, and you want it to be about the stars. We need a deity. We need someone to look up at. And you know, I don't know what's that disconnect with in the past where you would have these very braggadocious or these very advanced complicated logos and branding, but I know we unconsciously we want a human connection more than anything. That's one thing that technology has created. So having someone to identify with, even if you're not into sports or you're not into something, having that person, that you can look at and be like, oh, I like that guy. That's me, right? So, moving away from, you know, these fancy logos to just making it about the person, I think is the real legacy that's beginning, or the real thing that's beginning.
For those listening, Melton and I, we launched the Brick by Brick website earlier this week. We got a great response from, close friends reaching out. We greatly appreciate those that have reached out and checked out our site. I encourage those who haven't, go check us out, brickbrick.us. It looks great. Shout out to Melton. He was driving this website. It came together so nice. We This is a long process, right? Different engines, different platforms we were working with. So I really like the result. Melton, what are your thoughts on the site?
Yeah, yeah, it looks great. It's, definitely version 1.0 is definitely gonna change over time. And speaking, we talked about technology a lot today, and those type sites like um ChatGPT and Humane and all of them. It's this certain look, this certain sleekness, um, is definitely what I was trying to uh develop with our own personal site, but also the mixed media that we have there. Um, Again, it's all about the story. That's the opening line on the site. We want to turn, your story into brands that last. I think that's very important, not only for the people that we will work with, but for others who are interested in building brands in general. So, yeah, the site's great. Very excited to uh get my hands on other works and start actually building things brick by brick. So yeah, yeah, it was definitely fun. We did a small pivot at the last moment. I think what it took a week and a half or 2 weeks to get this up, and yeah, it's still a lot more work to do, a lot more work in progress, but it's good to finally have it done, have a product out. Now the real work actually begins, the real building actually begins. So look forward to keeping that mantra alive of builders build and get it going.
Build this build. I love it. If we can use this time to quick pitch, if you're out there and you need any design work, brand identity, marketing collateral, if you need a website built, if your mama's making pastries out the kitchen and she wants to start a little business, hit us up. Okay, get started. Link on the website. Emails hello@brickbrick.us. Um, DM Melton on Instagram. DM myself on Instagram. Get in touch however you want to, and please reach out and we'll get back to you. We're really trying to put our efforts into client work and getting projects out. So please get in touch. And yeah, we're looking forward to working with you and getting your brand off the ground. So um, appreciate everyone for listening. Again, these episodes are going up every Wednesday, 10 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Yeah, man, it feels good to be pushing these out, and we thank everyone for listening. Um,
It's
yeah,
facts.
cool. Brick by
Peace
brick.
out.